So I was about to get ready to film a video all about my favorite YouTube channels when I saw a video that Allie Glines posted about makeup she'd forgotten about, and I thought that would be great to film on camera before I do my other video because I have a whole bag here of makeup that I've just kind of forgotten to reach for. So at the end of the video, I'm probably gonna see if I can declutter any of these items and send them to a friend, or maybe everything works out great and then I re-fall in love with products that are already in my collection. And before we get into that, I just wanna say thanks so much for all the love and support on my last video. It's really just meant the world to me how many of you shared your own personal stories and traumas. I think that's probably when I feel most connected. So I wanted to say thank you for not only supporting me, but for sharing your own stories and showing all of us here that we are not alone. It can be so isolating when you feel like you have all this shame that you're hiding. If you look at the comments on that last video, there are hundreds of people who have had like the same trauma with their families, and it's absolutely mind-blowing. I hope that that made you feel less alone, because it certainly made me feel less alone. It's videos like those where I'm reminded of how lucky I am to have such incredible subscribers who are emotionally intuitive and intelligent, who are really smart and educated, who are thoughtful and sensitive and kind and supportive and funny. Sure, I get a couple bad apples here and there, but it's absolutely nothing compared to the positivity and just the overwhelming awesome community that I see on a regular basis. So thank you guys for being you. It meant the world. And now let's talk about makeup I forgot about. First up, we have the Decay Future Skin Foundation in the shade Ivory. Now this, every time I apply this on camera, I'm always like blown away by how beautiful it looks. But in my head, for some reason, I always remember it having like a very wet looking dewy finish, which I don't like. And it's hard for me to promote this on camera because this is like, I think in the range of $70 something, which even for me, I don't think I would feel comfortable spending as a consumer. I got this in PR, and so I'm very grateful for that. But frankly, I just don't think I would spend that money personally. One time I thought maybe it was the culprit in some breakouts I was having, and I kind of just forgot to keep testing it after that because I was afraid I would keep breaking out. But now that I'm coming off of hormonal birth control, I'm kind of breaking out all the time no matter what, so I'm like, fuck it, let's test it. As you can see here, the shade Ivory is not a perfect match for me, but this is relatively sheer as I remember. I think I remember it being more like a tinted moisturizer, but more coverage, slightly more coverage than a tinted moisturizer, which I like. I can get on board with that. I just don't like anything that's super, super, super sheer because I'm like, well, what's the point? And one thing that I remember about this foundation is it blends like a dream. And I do remember that it looks incredibly skin-like. And it is a little bit dewy right now. I made sure to wear a very lightweight moisturizer. I wore my Beauty Pie Sicca Relief Happy Face. That's what it is, Happy Face. The Happy Face Sicca Relief Cream and my Paula's Choice Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense Sunscreen. Both of those have a very, very light, kind of nearly matte finish on the skin. So I wanted to make sure that my skincare wasn't gonna contribute to any like shine, so that I could really understand the true texture of this foundation. Is that Thumper? I spend money, a lot of money, on beauty. You know, I've purchased LED masks that are several $100s, but I can't see myself ever purchasing something that's like between $50 and $80 that's just one makeup item, unless it's like a palette or something really phenomenal and unique. Because otherwise, if I wouldn't go out of my way to buy this, then I certainly wouldn't expect you to, and then I kind of have a hard time like talking about it a lot on camera. It looks really nice. I remember every time I film with this foundation, every time I go like, oh wow, this looks great. You know, I had some breakouts before, which I actually think are always great when you're testing products because you can really see what the coverage is like. So it did just really even out my skin tone. I would say it's medium coverage. It's not a light coverage foundation. I always think in my mind it's like as sheer as the Glossier Stretch Concealer, and it's not. I would say this is like a medium coverage. It's definitely dewy, as you can see on my face here, so let's see how this wears, and then we'll see how it wears with powder. The next product is the Fit Glow Peach Corrector, and this is a little sample that they sent me, And I really wanted to try this out because I love their concealer and I'm gonna use that on top of it just to see how they perform. I forgot about it because I don't ever really think that my under eyes really need a corrector. I just feel that a full coverage concealer kind of does the trick. But I have had a few people ask me questions about this and I wanna be able to give my thoughts. Now, it is the same texture as the Fit Glow concealer, and if you've tried that, that is incredibly thick and emollient and pretty hydrating. And because of that, if you use too much of either of these products, it gets very creasy. So I remember trying this once underneath the Fit Glow concealer, and I felt that it was just too much of that texture. But as you can see, it is like a pretty, I don't know, medium peach or a light medium peach. So it's not the kind of peach that does any like brightening, but I do think it kind of corrected the purple underneath my eyes, so that's cool. I'm a little bit nervous to use the Fit Glow concealer. This is in C2.5. The texture of these two together being the same texture, I just feel like it's gonna get really creasy. And also the peach corrector is pretty dark for my skin. I think it like really perfectly balances everything out. It's not brightening. But the Fit Glow concealer, it does make the Fit Glow concealer look a little darker than it usually does on me. So that's what the two look like together, and I think it definitely darkened my concealer a little bit so my under eyes like match the rest of my face. But let's move on. Quickly off camera, I'm just gonna conceal my blemishes with a tried and true favorite, my Makeup Forever Full Cover Concealer. Okay, so what I'm seeing here as I look at my neck is that the Chantecaille Future Skin in Ivory is just too dark for me. Look at my chest. See how, I don't know why I'm doing this. It's a lot lighter than the way my face looks. And I just don't like that then I have to wear like a high neck top, even though this is relatively sheer coverage. It just doesn't match me perfectly. Like I look a little orange right now. Okay, yeah, I look straight up orange, and I promise you it's not the lighting. It looks the same way in my mirror too. It's like the orange from the peach corrector, the slightly peachy tone of the Chantecaille Future Skin. Little too orange. Continuing that, the Say Sun Melt Bronzer in Light, I also tend to not reach for because it's a little too orange. Here's another case with the Say product where a formula is absolute perfection, but the shade range is just not thoughtful. They have 4 shades of this, and this is the lightest. So let me show you how crazy that is. That's pretty dark and pretty orange for a lightest shade of a bronzer. So I just find that when I use this, there's just such a contrast between this color and my skin because of the undertone that I just find myself not really reaching for it. But this is just such a beautiful, beautiful finish. It's the only cream bronzer I've ever tried, so unfortunately I don't have a reference point to compare it to. But as you can see here, it's really blendable just with a tapping motion. It just blends right into the skin. It's got a little bit of maybe a blurring quality to it, which I find really nice. And it does look beautiful, you know, even with this color, it's not that bad. It's just that when I don't have a perfect shade match, I tend to reach for the products that do match me perfectly. As you can see, it adds a really beautiful kind of sun-kissed look to the face without being patchy, or dry or dewy. It's just a really perfect formula. I'm hoping that they come out with a shade expansion because this is just, it's far too orange for me. I mean, that is not like what the lightest shade of a bronzer should be. I feel like the tagline for Say Beauty should be like, so close, but so far, because their products are so close to being perfect, but so far because the shade ranges are so bad. Another product I've completely forgotten about is the M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow Radiant Veil Blush in Baroque. I purchased this when they launched their Masterpiece collection. I think that's what it was called. And I already love this formula in Venetian Rose. That is like top 3 all-time most worn favorite blushes. This I purchased and I never reach for it because I can never remember what it looks like on my skin. It's like so sheer, barely there. It's not quite a peach, but it's not just a beige. Yeah, normally when I hold my hand up to the camera, you can see the color accurately. But honestly, this is just so light and so sheer. I'll include some footage of what the color looks like in indirect lighting so you can really see why I'm struggling with this. It's like barely there. And I think right now, given that my bronzer and my base are so dark, I don't even know if this is gonna show up on me right now. Look at that. So like these are heavy taps. Yeah, it's almost like a bronzer, but there's some taupey quality to it where, you see what I'm talking about? There's a cool toned quality to this blush where it adds a shadow. So you can see there, compared to this cheek, it's like contouring, but when you have that all over the cheek, it looks a little bruisey almost. It's the reason why I decluttered Buxom Seychelles, but that was way worse because that one was like super shimmery. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's time for this one to go. I don't love it. This color doesn't do much for me. I've barely used this, so I could give it to someone who would really appreciate it. And, you know, I don't want to own more than what is absolutely necessary, and I also don't like some of the pseudoscience Michelle Phan is spewing right now. So yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? There's some kind of bruisiness to this that I find unflattering. I think this one's a pass. This is a pass. M Cosmetics actually ended up launching 2 more shades. They launched like a Persimmon, which is a bright orange, and then they launched like a baby pink. They said they were gonna send me the baby pink like months ago, and I followed up asking if it had gotten lost in the mail. They said they forgot to send it, and then they were out of stock, but that they would try to send it again, so who knows. Now I'm going in with my Fit Glow, what is it? Plant Protein Brow Gel in Taupe Blonde. So I love this formula. I think this is an incredible brow gel. However, this is the lightest shade. This shade is just a little too dark for me. And I can't remember if this is the lightest shade or if the next one up is too light, like a blonde. But either way, I just don't think Fit Glow makes a brow gel in the shade that works for me. Because as you can see here, even though it does look normal, it's, I have to use a very, very light hand. I have to be like really careful because it's very dark and it can get out of hand super quickly. I love this formula. Like it holds my hairs in place. It feels like a cross between a brow gel and a brow wax. You can see it makes my hairs look kind of full and thick and fluffy, but I think they just are missing a few shades. Another product I keep forgetting to reach for these days is actually my Phytosurgeon Spectral Shine Balm in Divine Daylight. This is my favorite color that they've ever come out with. And if you've seen any reviews of the Spectral Shine Balm, you know when you touch it, it feels kind of like a slightly moist powder. And when you put it on your hand, there's almost zero payoff. So it's not like a swatchable product. What you have to do is I take their, what is this? Sky Buff. Their Sky Buff brush that was specifically designed for this. And you kind of swirl it a bunch. And the effect is stunning. Unfortunately, I have a shimmery blush on my cheek, so you're really not gonna be able to see the impact. But you kind of just swirl it on your cheeks like this, and you get this like airbrushed kind of glow. I look crazy because I'm wearing it on top of the M Cosmetics blush, which is so shimmery. But really, it just adds this kind of wonderful, like, wow, she's expensive look. The reason I don't find myself reaching for this all the time is because I have just fallen so head over heels in love with my Beauty Pie Luminizing Wand for like a bright highlight and my Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for a cream. I find that those work with every product and they're not tricky at all. This is a little bit tricky to use. Sometimes if I get too much, it ends up kind of breaking things up. It can look a little patchy. So there's a bit of a learning curve to this. However, Phytosurgeons did reformulate this and they're coming out, I don't know if they already have or if they are, coming out with one that's more emollient and more swatchable because they were kind of getting too many comments about people complaining that this didn't have any payoff. So I'll be really interested in trying it with the reformulation because you can see it's absolutely beautiful, but there are times when I don't use it correctly and then it can kind of make my makeup look a little bit patchy. Next up is the Say Air Set Powder in Translucent. I can't figure out if I like this or not. I had so many friends rave about how incredible it was. I love that they're just tiny, tiny little holes so you don't get a ton of product. But what I've noticed in looking back on my footage when I edit is that my skin will still get really shiny on camera when I'm wearing this. And in a way that I haven't experienced that with other powders. So I wanted to apply it before doing my eyes so I could see if it does help kind of keep down some of the dewiness from the Chantecaille. I need some powder here. The M Cosmetics blush is so shimmery. I think it's really highlighting some texture I have that I didn't even know I had on my cheeks. Yeah, that blush is a goner. So that's the Say Air Set powder freshly applied, and I think it looks so good when you first apply it. It doesn't make your skin feel tight and dry. Like, I used a lot of powder just now and I feel fine. My skin doesn't look cakey or heavy, but I just don't think this does a great job at keeping oil under control, so we'll have to monitor it throughout the rest of the video. One makeup item that is guaranteed to be forgotten in my collection is eyeshadow palettes, and that's because I keep all of my eyeshadow palettes in a separate drawer in my IKEA Alex cabinets, and so I just like never see them. For example, this is a Makeup by Mario Master Metallics palette. Bought this once, used it in my last video on the inner corner. I don't really know how to use these colors, but I want to, so I'm gonna force myself to play with this. I don't think I'm gonna use this today though. I might use this in a separate video because a product that blew me away that I completely forgot about is the Flower Beauty Jungle Lights palette. And I realized it's because I fell so hard for the texture and the formula of these. It's just the most soft, kind of fluffy, and then metallic and pigmented shadow that you could ever ask for. But I realize every time I pulled this out to do looks, these colors look like something that I'd love, but they aren't. Take a look at this color. This one, first and foremost, way too dark for me. It's the kind of color I would normally use as like a liner shade, but this is super kind of foiled and powdery and shimmery. I wouldn't use it as a liner. This is the one color I knew I wouldn't like. I don't like anything that's a mix of like a pink and a gold. I think pink and gold on me makes me look like sick, so I would never wear that. So then I go to this pink shade. That one might be something that works, and I've used that one on camera before, and I did think it was really pretty, but I don't reach for like a mauve rose that often. So then down here, these are a little bit more my speed. Let's go for the gold. I love golds, I love bronzes. However, when you swatch this, it's too gold, you know? I need something that's like a bronzy gold or like a peachy gold or something like that. This is just like a classic yellow gold. It's a little yellow. Okay, so then let's try this shade on the end here. This kind of like light champagne-y pink. It's too light. It's like lighter than my skin color, and I don't like wearing light colors on my eyes because I like something darker that adds definition. These formulas are just addictive to swatch, and like in any kind of like overhead swatching video, this is my jam. But in practice, these colors just don't do anything for me. So then the last shade is this one right here, which I guess you would say is a combination of like a mauve and a bronze. If this one's a mauve and a rose, this is like a mauve and a bronze. So maybe I use this today? Yeah. So again, too yellow gold, a little too like purpley pink for daily use. I don't remember which one that was. Light pink one, way too light. Or like rose gold one makes me look sick. Light pink one, way too light. And then we have this one here that looks nice. So the reason I keep forgetting this is not because I actually forget about it, but it's just more so that the colors are not quite there. Since I'm going in with that bronzy mauve shade from Flower Beauty, I'm gonna take some of Glacier's Teak and just put down this warm brown in the crease. Sometimes I like to use these Glacier palettes when I'm trying to make other shadows work because the Glacier mattes are so incredibly sheer that you're able to get like a really nice base for other eyeshadow products. I don't really like these palettes alone because first of all, they're so fucking bulky, but they also are just really not thoughtful in the textures. Like all of the textures are almost exactly the same. And so they're just like not a cohesive product for me. But as you can see here, this is a pretty dark matte shade and it's coming across as quite sheer, even though I've built it up several times. So I do like it for like a bit of a base for other products. Also, if you see a lot of straggly eyebrow hairs, I'm trying to grow my brows out because I overplucked them at one point and it kind of like messed up the shape on the right side. Brows are not twins. Mine aren't even sisters. They're more like second cousins, twice removed. And I'm just quickly taking that same matte shadow under my eyes. So I'm going in with the shade Horizon. Definitely the kind of formula you want to use with your fingers and tap just a little. Yeah, I mean, the texture is beautiful. I love the foiled effect. They're so pigmented, so easy to use. Little bit of fallout, as you can see. Just gonna clean up that edge there. That is really beautiful, but I don't know, because the other shades aren't really anything I would reach for as a one and done. Maybe if you were someone who loves using a cohesive color story and multiple shadows, maybe it would work for you then. But this is a beautiful shade. I love that it's a little bit more red than I was expecting, which is interesting and fun. So I really like how that turned out. For shits and giggles, let's pop a little bit of the gold, just like right there. Yeah, you honestly have to have an even lighter hand than that. I did like a boop, and then that just covered my entire eye. These are so incredibly soft and pigmented. So again, boop. Okay, eyes are done, and today to do my hair, I put in a bunch of salt spray and then used a diffuser, and I don't think that's how it's supposed to look. And I have a bunch of lip products sitting in front of me that I've completely forgotten about. I'm gonna go from lightest to darkest. First, we have the Persona E-Balm and Meditate. I remember I really like this color, but the formula is very, very, very thin. It feels like a little bit of Vaseline, which can be nice at times. The scent, though, is a little sickeningly sweet. It's like cotton candy sweet, which I don't love, but way better than something floral. So let's give this a shot. Oh, it's a beautiful color. This is in Meditate, right? Yeah. Oh, it's nice. You know, yeah, okay, now this is a situation where I just need to keep this top of mind because I think that looks beautiful. It is super thin and lightweight, and when it comes to like a lip gloss or a lip treatment, I like something much thicker. But for something like with color like this in a lipstick bullet format, I do like a thinner formula, and it barely feels like anything on the lips but a little bit of Vaseline. This is the lightest shade they have. They also have a darker brown and a red, I think. And I just think this is a really great nude on me. You know, it's not like a yellow nude. It's not a super pinky nude. It's not a kind of fleshy nude that's gonna, you know, wash me out. I think this is really good on my skin tone. I think that when it comes to lip products, when I look in my drawer, I don't see this because I go for my lip treatments immediately. This isn't something, even though it's a balm, I wouldn't consider it necessarily nourishing. I don't notice like anything different about my lips. I think I'm gonna actually start keeping this at my desk when I'm working, because that's when I kind of test out products and see if they're on the chopping block if I reach for them. I'm definitely gonna keep this. I just need to consciously use it more. Another product I know I really love, but I just keep forgetting about, is the Dior lip gloss that I bought in the shade J'adore, which is also the number 640. So another similar thing, very much like some kind of like sickeningly sweet smell. And it has this kind of weird applicator. It's like very short and small, but very like round, and it's super flexible. So that's kind of cool. Almost the same shade as Meditate from Persona. And this is kind of like a cross between a lip gloss and a lip balm. Why am I not reaching for this? It's really beautiful. Yeah, I mean, beautiful shine, not thick or gloopy, but it's not thin and runny like some other lip gloss formulas. Somewhere in the middle, got a little bit of balminess to it. Very comfortable, nice kind of like pinky beige shade. Yeah, I think I have to keep this at my desk too. Another product I purchased and completely forgot about is the Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Lip Gloss in the shade Freestyle. I've been reaching for Slow Jam nonstop. I became obsessed with that color And I fell in love with this because I was looking for a kind of beautiful pinky coral shade for summer. But then a follower said that I should try Wild Poppy from Chantecaille, the Lip Chic formula for like a bright kind of poppy coral. And that is my kind of perfect bold coral poppy color. I think the reason I haven't been reaching for this gloss is that it's so sheer that there are just so many other products I could reach for over this, considering I really don't like the scent of any Bobbi Brown lipstick. So let me show you. It's gorgeous at first. Oh, love it. So comfortable. Little glossy, little balmy, little bit of a lip oil. Classic formula. See that? It's a little gloopy when I talk, and I don't know if anyone else has that with the Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Glosses. I think what it is I build this particular color up so much, like I really layered on to get that color, and then, yeah, it gets kind of gloopy. So let me take that off and redo it. So if I only use a little bit and it doesn't get gloopy, what do you think? Like, it's really pretty. Is it just kind of not even there though in terms of color? I don't know. This is a maybe. This is a maybe. At the same time, when I was doing that liquid lip balm video for those products, I also came across the Urban Decay Vice Plumping Shine Balm in the shade My Dude. It's this beautiful bright orangey coral. I really like the scent of these. It's like caramel with mint, which sounds so fucking gross, but I like it. I don't know, it's weird. Love this formula. Very balmy. But I never reach for it because I remember it being like not even there in color. On the lips, I don't even think you can tell these apart. But on camera, you can see My Dude from Urban Decay is much more orange. Freestyle from Bobbi Brown is more pink. Between the two of these, do you have a preference for which one you think flatters me on camera, or are they so sheer that they just look the same? Because if I had to pick a formula, I actually think I'd go Urban Decay. This has a little more balminess to it, and I like that it has a little bit of like a sweet scent with that kind of mintiness. It's a cooling effect that's barely there, so it doesn't bother me and it doesn't irritate my lips. Whereas the Bobbi Brown has that kind of like citrus meets musty crayon smell. I just hate the way that Bobbi Brown lip products smell, and that always deters me. Now am I going crazy, or did the Bobbi Brown have more pigment? Lip products always trip me up. I don't know, they're both maybes. The next product is something I received in PR, and it's the Beauty Pie Shine Up Lip Color Balm in Sexy Berry. I love this color. They have this in multiple formulas. They have a lip liner, this balm, and they have a blush. I love the blush. It's my favorite blush color that Beauty Pie has ever made. I just really don't like the format of a crayon for lip products. This looks and feels very cheap, just like drugstore makeup. And Beauty Pie's whole thing is like, they're a luxury brand that works with luxury labs, and so they're releasing luxury products at discounted prices if you pay the membership. This is one of Beauty Pie's products to me that does not feel luxury. It's just, yeah, and it's the same thing with like Rose Inc. with their like cheap little dinky lip crayon. I just think lip crayons are like very unsophisticated. And there was something about this formula too, maybe? I don't know, let's give it a shot. Oh shit, that's pretty. Oh no. God damn it, that's beautiful. Okay. This is shiny, it's pigmented, it's comfortable. It's my favorite kind of vampy shade, which means it's a kind of berry, but it's more of a red berry than a purple berry. Ooh. Shit. All right. Beauty Pie. My apologies. Very similar color. I also bought the Bobbi Brown crushed, shit, it doesn't have the name on it. It's like the crushed liquid lipstick formula. This is in the shade Smoothie Move. I bought this because I wanted it to be for my liquid lip balm video, but then I realized it was much more of a liquid lipstick. Weird applicator. It kind of looks like an uncircumcised penis. I mean, just being real. You can't unsee it. You can't. Again, hate the scent of Bobbi Brown products, but that's neither here nor there. Is that the same thing as Sexy Berry from Beauty Pie? Let's swatch. Okay, well those are nearly the same. Bobbi Brown's Smoothie Move is a little darker, but I actually think they're the exact same color. And for me personally, if I'm gonna reach for a lip product that has a lot of pigment, I'm not gonna reach for something that comes with a wand because I just don't find it as easy to apply. I actually think that Sexy Berry was much easier for me to put on. You know, I just kind of slap it on and I didn't even have to worry about cleaning up the edges. But with something like a liquid lip balm, even though this is very comfortable, you kind of have to be like a little careful with it. Okay, I'm gonna put this one on again. My head is telling me Bobbi Brown because I know more people would rather I talk about this because Beauty Pie, you know, you have to have a membership to buy it. But I think I like the Beauty Pie. Because if I just do like a little like dab, 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 dab. Okay, yep. Beauty Pie wins. Sexy Berry. Just a sheer hint of color like that. Beautiful, comfortable, really nice. This does not have a scent, totally unscented. And you know how sometimes when products say they're unscented, but they still smell like crayons or makeup-y, this virtually has no scent. Okay, Shine Up Lip Color Balm from Beauty Pie. All right, that just blew me away. I will be passing Smoothie Move to a friend. Let's talk what's on the chopping block. Dun 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 dun! First up, we have Chantecaille Future Skin. I think, in looking at my skin, it is a little dewier than I would like. It's really pretty, it is, but it's just between this very, very, let me show you up close. See how kind of orange and peachy that is? Like it's really not just my lighting, that's how it looks in person. So between how slightly dewy this is and how peachy it is, I'm gonna pass this on to someone. I know I have a friend who would fucking love to try this, so would rather this go to someone who's excited about it. The Fit Glow Corrector, I'm actually shocked. I didn't put any powder underneath my eyes, and it's, as you can see, really not creasing. I mean, if I go like this, you can always see creases. That's just skin. Skin moves. Skin has folds, you know, makeup settles in there. But this doesn't slide around. I thought it was gonna be way too heavy with the Fit Glow Concealer, but I'm actually surprised. The difference here though is the shade of peach is so dark that it really did darken my concealer. And I think I like the hint of brightness that I usually get from my Fit Glow C2.5. So I think I'm gonna pass this to a friend. I'm sure they'd like it. You know, I send like products out to my friends all the time that I don't want. So maybe I'll throw this in for someone. Say Sun Melt Bronzer. I'm gonna keep this. I love this formula and I only use this on days when I'm wearing a high neck so that you can't see how starkly different this color is to my neck and chest. So I think when I'm self-tanning in the summertime coming up, and I think when I wear more high neck shirts, then this will still be, it'll work really well. And say, if you ever watch this, which I'm sure you won't, please, please come out with a lighter, more cool toned bronzer. Please, please. This formula is incredible. M Cosmetics Heaven's Glow in Baroque. This is my least favorite product of this whole try on. I hate the way my cheeks look right now. I feel like there's no color on my cheeks, but instead there's just a massive amount of shimmer from the blush. That was before I put on the Phytosurgence highlighter. I don't like this. It emphasized texture all around here. I didn't even know that my cheek was bumpy here, but this highlighted it. Interestingly though, I did not ever find that Venetian Rose did that or Magic Hour. So it's just this particular product. So I'm gonna pass this to a friend. As for the Phytosurgence Spectral Shine Balm in Divine Daylight, I'm gonna keep this. I think I'm gonna look after this and see if Phytosurgence did release the new Spectral Shine Balms. If so, I'll buy that when they come out with their new range of toasted blushes. I'm so excited. Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. That's neither here nor there though. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and give this a pass because I think it's a little bit tricky to use, and because of that, I reach for other products. I just wanna buy their reformulated version of this because I'm sure they made it perfect. I really can't figure out where I'm at with this Say powder because it did not keep my skin mattified, that's for sure. It also does have tiny flecks of shimmer. I'm gonna go outside and see if you can see any of the shimmer in the sunlight. But I'm just kind of wondering if that's why my skin, after you saw how beautifully it kind of filtered it and blurred it and mattified it, Now I just have all of this shine coming through. You can see some of my texture in places. I can't tell if it's this, but every time I wear this, I end up feeling like my skin doesn't look great. And I think I maybe need to start realizing that it's because of this. I think what I have to do next with the Say powder is I have to wear it on my favorite base. If I wear my favorite, like, you know, concealer, foundation, blush and everything, and it still looks bad, then I will know that this is the culprit. But in the meantime, it really just might be the Chantecaille Future Skin and the M Cosmetics blush that really emphasized my texture and made me look a little bit more dewy. So I will give this another shot. A weird one. Flower Beauty Desert Lights. How can you love something and not love it so much at the same time? These formulas, oh, they're such a dream. I just really feel that like the drugstore is seriously stepping it up in terms of formula, but they are seriously lacking on both scents for lip products and color. This, while looking like a beautiful desert landscape, just doesn't translate on the eyes. I think to make this a cohesive palette, they should have gotten rid of the shimmer in this and made it like a matte kind of eyeshadow that you could use as a liner. I think they should have made this gold shade a little bit more bronzy, like a little bit more maybe orange in there, or maybe just a little bit more of like an antiqued gold, like a kind of MAC woodwinked shade. I think they should have made this pink shade a little bit lighter so that a lot of different people could have used it more like a brow bone highlight, face highlight, I don't know, an inner corner highlight, but as such like a baby pink shade, it's not as versatile. I don't know how they could have changed this one. I hate the combination of pink and gold. I think it's like NARS Orgasm on steroids. I don't like the way that looks on eyes. This one that's on my eyes right now, Horizon, freaking stunning. I think this one's perfect. And I think this kind of mauvey purple shade is also very, very beautiful, but it's just not worth it for me to keep this palette for 2 shades because those 2 shades I can find somewhere else. I definitely could just use my Rowan 1111 for this, and I'm sure I have a bunch of different like kind of reddish bronze shades that I can use. So I'm gonna see if a friend wants this. Maybe I'll play around with it again. Maybe I need to just try some of these on my eyes as a one and done. I think this is a perfectly executed formula with a poor color story. Definitely getting rid of Bobbi Brown's Smoothie Move, not my thing. Don't like the scent. I don't like applying a very opaque color with a wand. I find that it's a little bit messy. And I prefer Beauty Pie Sexy Berry, which is almost the same shade in a more flattering formula. Oh, these two though! Urban Decay Plumping Shine Balm in My Dude and Bobbi Brown Crushed Oil Infused Lip Gloss in Freestyle. I will update in the description box if I decided to keep these. In the meantime, between the 2 of these, which one did you prefer on me, or did you think they were so sheer that they're not even worth keeping? Let me know. That's it for today's video. Holy hell, I hate the way my cheeks look. Oh wow, I am so glad that I'm getting rid of that M Cosmetics blush. I do not like the way that I look. But everything else I thought looked really, really nice. You know, aside from the kind of like color issues here and there. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next video to see my favorite YouTube channels. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.